you describe music as a universal language and a form of medicine. Can you elaborate on how sound vibrations can heal and transform lives a little bit further?
Yeah, sure. So what I realized when after I lost my son and I was going to talk therapy, and I recognized obviously it was helpful, but it wasn't getting to the point. Like the real feelings weren't really, you could talk about them, but as my singing teacher used to say to me years ago, Jeralyn, nothing vibrates here. What vibrates is in your body. And I wasn't able to really get to the feelings of the grief. And so when I began using the bowls, what I recognized the first time I really used them, one of the bowls I was using a selenite bowl. So selenite is what we call, it's a crystal that we call a connection of heaven and earth, or it's a grounded white light. And that was very powerful for me. And as I began to play it, the bowl started screeching. So Alex, it wasn't a nice sound. It was like nails on a chalkboard. But what
Mhm.
I realized later was that that bowl sound was entraining with my grief, and it was
Yeah.
helping the grief to express itself. And I started keening and groaning and making sounds and wailing that I had not been able to make in the talk therapy. And then when I got up to, after that very first session, to wash my face, I saw there was that light in my eyes. And I hadn't seen that light for a long time. So there's not going to be a one size fits all. Like, when we study the notes, just as we study music theory or we study the chakra system, and we talk about, okay, the C note is the root chakra, the D note is the sacral chakra, etc. It's never going to be one to one. So, for example, like, okay, for your grief, take a rose quartz bowl that's the note of the heart, and that'll help really heal your heart. It doesn't work that way. And this is the fun and very creative part, that it sound there's things that we've blocked, things that have been traumatic, things that have been painful, illnesses, whatever. Like, I'm thinking about in this moment, working with a woman who had an accident as a 7-year-old, and she was in a coma and was in the hospital. And she had blocked out, she didn't remember anything about that situation. And during the sound bath, the whole memory of being in the ambulance, of her parents, of everything just arose within her. And she was able to work with those feelings that had been, I don't want to say repressed, but had been suppressed in the subconscious, and certainly making some kind of blockage somewhere in her body. Well, they began to rise, the sound entrained with them, and that memory transformed.